Welcome back to the Full Force Fathers podcast. Dave, it is July the 4th. It is Independence Day. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Happy birthday, America. What a day. I love it. July 4th is always so much fun. One thing I'm not looking forward to, though, is tonight, apparently in my town, it rains like Baghdad on July 4th. There's fireworks that just go off all night long, so a little concerned about that. New Year's, it was insane how many fireworks are going off around us, like big ones, too. And everybody said that is just pales in comparison to what's coming tonight. So, Lord help me.
Is July 4th, are fireworks legal in Tennessee? Because certain states are, certain states aren't.
Oh, yeah, they're legal. Oh, yeah. Okay. They sell them down on the corner.
I'm just wondering.
It's insane.
But I mean like real fireworks, not like sparklers, like aerials.
Oh, no, these are like big bastards. Like you see it like a fireworks show when you go. It's wild. Yeah,
those are called.
I mean, New Year's Eve was wild. Casey and the kids are not here today, so they're up in Maine enjoying the 4th of July there on the beach, which good for them. I'm glad they're not here for it because it would probably keep the kids up all night, and that would be miserable the next day. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. No, we're gonna go run over. They actually are doing the fireworks this year, not at Naranja, because as you know, Naranja is completely under construction with all the, the upgrades and shit they're putting in there, which is taking about the speed of a sloth to get anything done over there. But they're gonna be at James Cray this year at right at the aquatic center there. So
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, which is cool. So I mean, obviously, you know where we are. We're literally we're 2 miles to there.
You should probably just go up, sit by the pool, and watch them.
Yeah, we should be able to see them, I'm assuming, perfectly from the backyard. I mean, considering that we're that close.
That was one of my favorite things about, where our house was situated. You could see over all of downtown Tucson. We used to be able to see the fireworks in Naranja, the fireworks in Marana, the fireworks way down south. It was awesome. I used to love that.
Yeah, that is nice being up on the hill. We do get to see. Now, we don't really, because we have the mountains directly behind us, so we see nothing to the east. And really, you really got to look hard to see anything to the south. But anything to the north, the west, and in the southwest, we see perfectly, which is cool. We can see Miranda from here. And I'm excited to see I don't know if we're actually going to go there or not because, they do fun things for the kids and food trucks and shit. So we may actually just go over there. But I'd much rather sit by the pool, have a little campfire going if it's possible tonight. It's been breezy here. As you know, all of June and into July, we are in the midst of a absolute scorcher of a couple weeks. I mean, dude, summer just came late here. Beginning of June, it wasn't terrible. It's been like 10 of the last 12 days, 107 to 113. So it's been hot. So, but no. Anyways, it's July 4th, guys. Happy birthday to America. I am wearing Debbie Downer. I'm wearing my Betsy Ross American since 1776 shirt. Dave's wearing olive green. If you're watching on YouTube, kind of a confusing
kind of like
color.
Army.
Kind of like
color.
Oh, listen, that's a good. Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
That was a good save right there. He's doing it for the military. He's wearing Army green for the military.
Of course I am. Would there be anything else I would do it for? Military.
But anyway, so July 4th, it's America's birthday. We have numbers. Famous number 68. I put the list together this week, and Dave has been doing the numbers more than I have lately, but I got a good jump on it. So there's some. I'll tell you. I talked to Dave midweek about this, and I was like, man, there's some good numbers in 68. It's very top-heavy. I mean, when you think 68, you think football. And that's exactly where Hall of Famers, they don the number 68. Willie Shields, the Hall of Fame guard for the Chiefs. He was a 12-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. Kevin Mawai, Hall of Fame center, drafted by the Seahawks, probably most famous for the Jets. He also was, played with the Titans too. 8-time Pro Bowler. 3-time All-Pro. Russ Grimm, another Hall of Fame lineman for the Redskins, 4-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. And there's actually a defender in here, a defensive end, L.C. Greenwood for the Steelers, wore 68. He is a 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, Dave. He's a 4-time Super Bowl champ.
That's wild. I mean, see, again, I love that when you did call me midweek to talk about the list, I love how you were kind of piling on what I had said last week on the show, which is like when you start doing the research on some of this stuff, you find out some really cool statistics and information about people you had no idea. So that's a cool one. 4-time Super Bowl champ. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's an impressive. I mean, it's I'm trying to think of the word to put it. Like, it's top heavy. I mean, we knew these numbers in the 60s were going to be linemen. That's what we knew that all along. But I just didn't expect to see 4 Hall of Famers like that. You know what I mean? Right off the rip.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think personally the biggest name in this list comes from hockey, and it's Jaromir Jagr. You know, he's a 2-time Stanley Cup champ with the Penguins, as we all know. He is the second all-time in points in NHL history. Obviously, the great one, Wayne Gretzky, is the number 1 scorer in hockey history. But it just wouldn't be Full Force Fathers if we didn't just bust out a Wayne Gretzky greatness statistic, okay? So let me break this down for you. Jaromir Jagr, second leading scorer all-time in NHL history. He has 1,921 points, all right? 1,921. Gretzky had 2,857. But that's not even the stat. That's not even the stat that makes it. Jaromir Jagr did it in 1,733 games played. Gretzky did it in 1,487. So he had nearly 900, over 900 points, 936 more points to be exact. Dave, he did it in 246 less games.
It's bananas. The stats are just truly bananas. I mean, because when you read it off to me first, I was like, wow, 900-point difference, right? I was like amazed at that. And then when you had to drop, that it was 246 less games, which for those counting is 3 seasons in the NHL. That's wild. Now I've got a question. Since we started doing the show, I mean, when we started, your favorite athlete of all time was Roger Federer.
He's absolutely still, yeah.
I don't know, man. You're pretty high on Gretzky.
I just think
you've been getting like next level on Gretzky.
I'm not a hockey fan, but I just think his numbers are just so dumb. It's not even funny. It's insane.
They are ridiculous.
You know, I'm gonna throw another statistic at you right now about the difference in the greatness. Like I'm saying, Jaromir Jagr's no slouch. You could argue he's the second best hockey player. He's the second best offensive hockey player of all time, right? Longevity had something to do with that. But listen, you want to know another stat that's even crazier? Jaromir Jagr had 1,921 points, right? Total. Wayne Gretzky had 1,963 assists in his career. So he would be the all-time leading points scorer in NHL history if he never scored a goal. If he never scored a goal, he would be the all-time leader.
That's wild.
He has more points from assists than any other guy in the history, goals and assists combined.
That's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't. Mm-hmm.
And the thing about hockey is, you know, total points is cool. In hockey, listen, the one thing hockey's kind of dumb. If I pass it to you, then you pass the Andine, and then Andine scores the goal, I get a fucking assist for that. That's the way hockey works. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like in basketball where I pass you the ball, you score, I get the assist. I can do 2 passes, and I can get the assist for it. So I want to know is, now that statistics are even sharper on the ball, how many assists did they miss in fucking Gretzky's career?
Oh, yeah, true. No kidding. That's a good point. That's a real good point.
You know what I mean? But anyways, the most debilitating thing about hockey statistics, for me anyways, is there's not even an American hockey player on the list of all-time leading scorers until you get to 25. Literally, 25th is Brett Hall. He's the first American on the all-time points list.
That's amazing.
I mean, obviously, and to put even in more context, the first 17, 15 of them are Canadians. The only other 2 that aren't Canadians are Jaromir Jagr and Alexander Ovechkin. The rest of them are Canadians.
Pretty
good. I'm going to
There's
keep bringing hockey statistics.
You're bringing
all the time.
hockey. I like it. Yeah.
I just think I listen, as you know, Federer is my all-time favorite player of any sport. But when it comes to pure greatness, I just don't understand how anyone can like name Michael Jordan or Federer or Tiger without putting Wayne Gretzky in that category. That's just how freaking good he is.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, 68. Let's not just take all day talking about a Canadian when it's America's birthday, okay? Let's talk about other players, okay? You brought up Trent Alexander-Arnold. who wore 60, who plays for Liverpool a couple episodes ago. Well, I'm going to put another Liverpool young gun at you. Harvey Elliott wears 68 for Liverpool. He's young and upcoming talent. He's a great footballer. He plays for Liverpool. Liverpool's got a good crop of young talent. Baseball, it's not a big number, but Dylan Betances, is that how I pronounce it? The kid from the Yankees.
Mm-hmm.
He's a reliever from the Yankees. Pretty well known, I'm assuming, across the majors. And then basketball, and I want to get to racing because we have a funny story about the racing guy.
That's pretty awesome.
Basketball. Milton Schoon wore 68. He played at Valparaiso, and his most famous thing about him is that he was famous for guarding George Mikan. That's what it says under his bio. Wore 68, went to Valpo, but he was famous for how well he guarded the great George Mikan. And he played for a professional team in Sheboygan.
Chicago?
No, Sheboygan.
No, Sheboygan. Oh, wow, Sheboygan. I love hearing Sheboygan. It brings back just great memories of John Candy, the Kenosha Kickers, Home Alone. Just fantastic.
Polka.
It's so great.
And then anyway, I'm saving the best for last because there's another meaningless statistic. You brought up a meaningless racing statistic. Once again, not a sport that I follow. But there's Bobby Hamilton raced in the number 68 car, Dave, 68 times. Go figure. And he only led a total of 7 laps in 68 races. No wins, 6 top 10s.
6 top 10s? I mean, 6 top 10s isn't bad given the fact that you only led 7 total laps. I mean, that's insane. That's a terrible statistic. I would never want to be known for that. Who is that? Bobby Hamilton?
Yeah, dude, doesn't it sound like a famous name?
Yeah, it does.
It sounds like it's a Hall of Famer, but it's not.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So there's
terrible.
There's your famous number 68s, all right? Anything you want to add? Anything you want to add?
There is something I want to add. Did you see this story? It was out right before the NBA draft, and I just happened to see it, so sorry for being late to the party here. We talk about greatest athletes of all time, right? And did you hear of Brandon Miller, the kid from Alabama, who he said was the greatest of all time in the NBA?
No.
Paul George.
Interesting.
Flabbergasting would be my take. I mean, there's a lot of great NBA players. I don't think Paul George would crack the top 50.
I don't even think he's a Hall of Famer.
No.
And he also
7,500. I mean, he's not good.
I mean, he's a top 25 player in the league right now, currently, but all time.
Yeah, called him the GOAT.
I mean, Paul. I mean, I guess he kind of body statistics. They're about the same. They're long. They're lanky. They shoot. They get to the rim. Paul George is a hell of a basketball player. I don't watch the NBA anymore. But Paul George, at the height of his career, when he was before all the trades and all that shit, like when he played for the Pacers, he was fucking unbelievable. Those Pacer teams were good. They always got beat by the Heat, but those were good. Mm-hmm. They had a good little run there where you had Roy Hibbert from Georgetown. You had Paul George, who was the freaking guy that, oh man, he was the pain in the ass, but he was the good defender.
Ron Artest.
No. He was a Ron Artest type guy.
Oh.
What was his name? I'm gonna see Pacers that lost to the Heat in Eastern Conference Finals. It was
no disrespect to Paul George, but he is not.
No,
he's not the GOAT.
He's definitely not. It was 2000. It was the 2013 Eastern Conference Finals. That's when the big three were together. Like, Lance Stevenson, that was his name. He was the Ron Artest.
Oh, that's right.
Remember, he used it. He's got the famous meme for blowing in LeBron James's ear when they're at the free throw line, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So, he's not the GOAT. So anyway, way off topic. He's not the GOAT, but he's a great basketball player. The worst thing that ever happened to him, obviously, was when he broke his leg in half and he had the compound fracture when he was playing for Team USA. That didn't help him, but he came back just as good. You know, what a team he played for this past season on the Clippers with him and freaking Kawhi Leonard, all those guys. They just never, they lost to the Suns. But anyways, enough about the NBA because I think the NBA is stupid. But
keep us moving.
Anyways, Bible verse for today. So today's show, I kind of want to just break it down. So it's America's birthday. So we would be doing a disservice to this country of ours if we didn't talk about July 4th a little bit. I also want to talk about Phase 3. Phase 3 ended for me, but it fell in between episodes. So we couldn't talk about it in the last episode, but then there was no episode in the middle to talk about Phase 3. So not to discredit America's birthday, go read the Declaration of Independence. I tell everybody to do that. And go read your Constitution and your Bill of Rights and all those good things, because those are all important things that should be done as an American. But I also want to talk about Phase 3 a little bit, because Phase 3 was super hard. And I want to talk about 70 for Hard a little bit. So today's show is going to be kind of a little bit all over the place, because we're going to go with the Bible verse. I want to read a little bit of the Declaration of Independence. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Phase 3. So we're going to just kind of go with it and see. It may not flow as normal, and there probably might not be a cute punchline segue into something from something like we usually do or anything like that. But I want to start with the Bible verse, because this is the order of the show. We go Bible verse. The Bible verse ties into what the show topic is about. Okay, so from 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 16 and 17. Okay, 1 Peter 2, 16, 17. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover up for evil. Live as God's slaves. Show proper respect to everyone. Love the family of believers. Fear God. Honor the emperor. Okay. Most important part of that. Live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover up for evil. That ties into the world that we live in right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a perfect tie into where we are right now. I mean, everything you see on the news, politicians that we have, I mean, it does just seem like a cover of evil.
Yep.
And people need to recognize that. We're losing the independence that we had in this country, what our forefathers fought for, what this country was founded on. Man, we are very close to losing it.
It's under the veil, and that's what I hate, how sinister these people are. They use it under the veil of democracy, right? If you disagree with them, you're a threat to democracy. You're a fucking white nationalist, supremacist, patriot, you know what I mean? A domestic, whatever you want to call them. But it's all under the veil of democracy, and that's what drives me mad. And it's so crazy. Isn't it crazy how this is why I tell everyone to get in tune with your faith. Dude, the Bible was written thousands of years ago. Isn't it crazy that there's a line in there that is fucking perfect to the world that we currently live in?
Yeah, and that's not just the only time. It happens all the time. The correlations that you can make between the two, between then and now, it's astonishing.
And that's why I just don't understand how people don't believe or don't read it or don't want to read it, don't want to. Dude, it's insane. It's insane. You know what I mean? It's insane. But that verse is put in there because it is absolutely tied to the world that we currently live in. We are free people, but we can't use freedom as a cover up for evil, and that's what they've done. That's what they've done for a few years now. These last few years have been that way. Anyways, I have the Declaration of Independence up on my screen. I'm going to read you just a couple paragraphs of it, and then we'll dive in a little bit. So, the Declaration of Independence. All right, July 4th, 1776. It is the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, and it starts as, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. Nobody ever reads that part. That's why I read it, because that's actually truly the first paragraph. But this is where the thick of it comes in. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Okay? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That is the most famous line in the Constitution. Everyone thinks it's we the people, but that's not even the Declaration of Independence. Okay? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is the most famous line in the Declaration. We the people is the famous line from the Constitution. Okay? And life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Like, what does it mean to you, Dave? Like, to me, like, it means that, like, we're not supposed to be allowed to do things in this country, right? They are God-given rights to go after life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And I really feel recently the word allowed has come in. Like, you're allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. Wear a mask. Don't wear a mask. Shots. What can stay open? What can stay closed? It's like all of a sudden the unalienable rights were no longer, they were now not rights. They were, are you allowed to do them? Like someone was, like a cover up for freedom, right? Someone was telling you what you could and you could not do. That's not America. That is not this country. And that's where we are right now.
Oh yeah, that's exactly where we are. It started way before 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of this push towards where we're headed right now. What got us to here? What even put us in a position where people would allow this to happen? But yeah, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness to me is saying that we as people have the right to seek out our happiness, whatever that may be. Obviously, you can't break the law, you can't do those types of things, but it is our right to go and seek those things out, to be the person that we want to be, to go create a business, to create a family however we want to create a family, to live the life on our terms. And it has been being taken away. And there was another line you said before that, before you got to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. All men are created equal. And if there's one thing that you've seen in recent news, and this has really been over the last 3 years, is how they're trying to divide us, making us think that everyone isn't created equal, and highlighting those differences and focusing on those differences and trying to make people hate each other and divide this country internally. And that to me is another miss.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's interesting what, like I say, people need to stop and read this. And if you stop and read this word for word, and then you just become an observer, right? Become an observer. Don't talk, don't react. Read the Declaration of Independence word for word, and then become an observer of what the current state of the country is. They are not the same. They're not even close to the same right now. And we the people, a couple lines further down in the Declaration of Independence, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. Right? I just feel, and the crux of it for me is, and these are the things that piss me off. The power's been taken away entirely from the people. Okay, we have a group of people that live in Washington, D.C., right? And they apparently are doing what's supposed to be best for us, the average Joe, right? The people of the country that make this country. But
we voted them and elected them to office, right?
Yes.
So they're supposed to be working for us.
For us. But then they pass bills without ever asking us, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I don't get. You're supposed to work for us. No one's come to me and asked me about mandates. No one's come to me and asked me about money going overseas. No one's come to me and asked about money for the safety of our own people here. But isn't that the purpose? And then if you try to talk to these people or reach out to these people, you get nothing. You literally, it's fucking crickets. So if you really truly work for the people, what are we doing?
That's because we're not created equal. They're the elites and we're the peasants, or so they think.
Yeah, it drives me absolutely crazy that you read the Declaration of Independence and then you look and you just like, what, dude? This is not where we live. This is not the country that we live in right now. And that's the thing I think that pisses me off the most. And you just gotta speak up when you need to. If something's wrong, something's out of, but then they just do everything they can to silence you. So, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But overall, you and I both admit this is still the greatest country in the world, right? It's still the greatest country in the world. And for many reasons. But it is going in the opposite direction of what it was found, the principles that it was founded on. It's going in the complete opposite direction right now.
Yeah. Well, there's a reason people are flooding into this country in droves right now because it is the greatest country in the world. But if we're not careful, we'll lose that title of greatest country in the world. If we keep letting these destructive people take apart our freedoms one by one. And we need everyone to realize it, really pay attention, see what's going on, and voice it. Speak up, voice it. There's a lot more of us than there are of them. And we need people to come out and show it in unanimous support for freedom as a whole. And then, hopefully that starts to turn it back the way that it needs to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And, this is going to be my corny tie-in to my other topic today. The world, especially this country, America could use around a 75 hard. Would you agree?
I would agree. Yes. I think that. I think they could actually use the Live Hard program, not just 75 hard. I think they need the entire Live Hard program.
Yes, like this country could use a dose of 75 hard, the Live Hard. But no one will do it because this country's, a bunch of sissies, boys that think they're girls and, all that other good jazz. But this country could use some 75 hard. And I want to talk about 75 hard today because 75 hard, you've done it. I just completed the Live Hard program. And I want to talk about it because I will forever stand behind this program. I will forever defend Andy Frisella and his program that he created as the greatest mental toughness program there is out there. Okay, ever created. It's free, so don't tell me I don't have any money because it's free. The program's free. I will forever call you out if you ever call it a challenge. I will forever call you out if you think this is you can alter it. If you can, what's the word I'm looking for? You can how you switch when you change it to yourself, you cater it to yourself. I can't think of the word right now.
You said it, when you alter it.
Yeah, when you alter the program, when you make it convenient for yourself, because the whole point of this program is not to be convenient. It's to make you tougher in all aspects of your life. The fitness aspect of it is a byproduct of what it does for you. But anyways, so I just finished phase 3. And phase 3 is very difficult. Okay, it's the final part of the Live Hard program. It's very difficult. And you don't realize how difficult it is until you're like in the middle and you're in the thick of it, right? When you're in the shit. Because I personally think, now that I've done 75 hard a bunch of times, I think 75 hard is pretty easy. I think the hardest part now for me is to not get bored over it, right? Because I guess that's part of the challenge, is to not get bored. Because when you get bored, you fail because you're like, oh, I've already done this. And that's always the hardest part of doing 75 hard a second time. It's to stay as sharp as you were the first time on the program. But phase 3, like the whole situation is great because like you have 75 hard, the original, 75 days. All right, then you bump up to phase 1, keeps you on your toes, keeps you like fucking alert. Oh shit, I got more stuff to do. Then you go back to 75 hard. Then you go to phase 2, which is just like the original for only 30 days, which is cool. And there's like the waiting period. I said, but like the step up to phase 3 is an entirely different beast. Because like I said, it adds things that on paper seem so easy, but then all of a sudden it's 8:00 and you haven't met a stranger or you haven't done an act of kindness. And now you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what I think it would be. Well, and I know the reason he made it like this, but it would certainly be easier if phase 1 was just 75 hard. Phase 2 had all those added pieces to it, and then phase 3 had all those added pieces to it, and then a couple more. Yeah, because you'd be kind of in that rhythm of sort of building. So I know why he did it, because it's not 75 easy, it's 75 hard. But you're right, that portion of it, those extra things, and they're not easy things. Yeah. They're not, you can sit and you can chug water. Like, okay, I didn't drink enough water. Let me chug that. I got to take my picture, read my 10 pages. If you haven't talked to a stranger, like you said, at 8:00 at night, you've got a big problem on your hands. Yeah. That I would say is the toughest one. The act of kindness, there's different things you can do to get the act of kindness out of the way without really having to leave your house. You
Mm-hmm.
can make a donation, you can do some of those things, but you don't want that to be the fallback. You want to be able to actually go out and make a difference in someone's life that you can actually see in the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, meeting that stranger, if you forget that, boy, whew.
And for me, luckily enough, during the program, we were down at the U of A track for 3 to 4 nights a week, essentially the entire program, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I would come to be like 8 o'clock. One night, track was just about over, and the girls had just finished up, and it was like 8. It was like 8:30, right? And I'm like, "Fuck, I have that stranger." And he goes, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm gonna go talk to that guy right there, getting in his car. I'm not gonna let him leave." And she goes, "You're what?" Sure
You're a
enough,
nut.
I literally
You are
went over
nuts.
and started talking to this guy. I just made small talk and started talking to him about his veteran and all this other good stuff. Talked to him for 15 minutes in the parking lot. And Andy goes, "I wanted to get home." I'm like, "Well, I didn't want to fail."
Was the door open? He was like stepping into the car?
No, he was maybe 6 feet from his car before I kind of just cut him off.
How did you start it? Hey, sir.
No, he actually gave me the opening because he mentioned something about Caroline. And that was it, dude. You opened up the door,
Done
baby.
deal.
Done.
Okay. So you got to say that in part of the story. You just made it seem like you're creeping in a parking garage, and you're like,
No,
"Hey,
I didn't. I
over
said
here."
I said I was leaving track. I was leaving track when
Yeah,
that.
but you're still leaving track. I
I don't
mean,
think he
he
was.
doesn't
I don't think he
necessarily.
is expecting me to talk to him for 10 minutes, but he didn't really have a choice. Like I said, that part once I'm locked in and I get the nails sunk in, dude, it's over. You're gonna have to drive away with the window down.
You're gonna be like Jingle All the Way when Tom Arnold's got his hands in the thing, and I forget her name, whoever the wife is in it. She's driving away, and he's hanging into the car on the side of the car. All of a sudden, his gloves are still stuck in there,
Is
and he has to fall off the side of the car.
which one's Jingle All the Way?
The one with Tim Allen, Tom Arnold. It's the Christmas one.
It's Christmas with the Cranks,
Oh
isn't
no,
it?
Christmas with the Cranks. Never
It's
mind,
Jamie Lee.
Christmas with the
It's
Cranks.
Jamie
Yeah,
Lee
yeah, yeah.
Curtis.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis. I've
Yeah.
got my movies mixed up. Yeah, Christmas with the Cranks. You're right. But yeah, that's what it kind of reminds me of. You just stick it on the side of the door.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did
But
Andine and the girls stand there with you, or did they go to the truck?
they went in the truck.
Okay,
They went. They
knowing
went.
Andine, I would imagine so. But
They went in the truck. But I mean, but phase 3 just gets you, man. It gets you. And I told this to you last week. I was like, man, I feel like a fucking fraud when I donate money. Like I just feel like a fraud because
yeah,
it's you just does it technically count as an act of kindness? I don't know. Maybe one day we'll have Andy on the show. But like I hope he says yes, or else we both have failed.
we both failed.
You know what I mean? But like doing an act of because I really think I truly believe an act of kindness can be anything. Like we've talked about it. You could be helping out a little old lady with some yard work, or bringing up the trash cans for my neighbor who's 86 years old, or
Yeah.
like a few times I just grabbed a garbage bag because I hate littering and it drives me mad. So I would just go and pick up trash. Like that's an act of kindness. It's cleaning up the world. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But that one is the one where it's kind of like a gray area, right? Like what it really comes down to what you consider to be an act of kindness, right?
I think if you're doing it in the right way,
Yeah.
if you're not just like, oh, it's 11:30 at night, I haven't done my act of kindness, so I'm just going to make a donation.
Yeah.
I think that's where it stretches the line. But if you're like, you know what, you go to you're going through your day, you see somebody who maybe was suffering from some kind of a chronic disease or something, you're like, you know what, I'm going to make a donation to that person's charity.
Yeah.
Or something that supports them. I think that's a totally different way of looking at it. So yes, it could be a crutch. You could use it to like get yourself out of a weird sticky situation of not getting it done. But I think that's where it gets to be a little dicey.
Yeah. Yeah. But overall, 75 hard. I don't know when I'm going to start again because obviously I've lived the lifestyle now for so long. I want to start again. I would strategically not like to have phase 3 end in the fucking middle of late June. Like it's just hot as fuck in Arizona at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also grateful that I got it done just a few days ago because we leave in a couple days to go to Colorado, and like then it would have been like, oh damn, we were like totally screwed. You know what I mean? Because we're leaving on Friday to go to Colorado for a week. So, but anyways, overall, like I know we've talked about 75 hard tons of times on this show. I just think it's a good tie-in for where we are as a country. I think mentally, the mental stability in this country is terrible. I think everyone's a big sissy. I think everyone could work a little bit harder, and I just think I think 75 hard could really do wonders for a lot of people. Because this country, especially on July 4th, dude, we need some serious like mirror looking. Like we need to like really take a good hard look at what's going on in the world and how we can all become better. And phase 3 will, and not phase 3, but 75 hard will do that for you.
Yep.
But anyways, and July 4th, man, go out there, support an American business. We talked about it on the show, you know, like Dave mentioned, public square. What a better time to show your patriotism as American than to go support an American business. Go to, like I said, go support a farmer, go support a local handcrafted whatever it is, and you know, let's keep our dollars here. Let's not keep sending them overseas to endless wars. Let's keep our dollars here, circulating here, and make this place, you know, a better place than it is now currently.
Is it that time for the old book review? What do you got today?
I do have a book. This is a book that I read.
Boy.
And what it is, this is the first or second, now I'm dating myself because it's been so long. First or second book that I read on 75 hard the first time.
Wow, okay.
So that would be 2021. January of 2021 was the first time I did 75 hard. The 2 books that I read were Modern Warriors by Pete Hegseth, and the other book was Follow the Money by Dan Bongino. But this, I think, was the first. Now that I'm thinking about it more, I think this was the second book I read. So when I first did 75 hard originally, I would get up every morning, sit on the couch, and get my pages done. And this was one of the ones. And it ties into July 4th because it's called Modern Warriors by Pete Hegseth, okay? Real stories from real heroes. It's exactly what it is. This book is full of former war heroes, former, you name it, Navy SEALs, Army Green Berets, Air Force guys, Marines, you name it. And it's all it is a collection of stories of each person. And I don't know if you can really see if I start scrolling through the pages, but each, like, I'm trying to think. So I'll just kind of run down some of the names here that are in here. So Never Giving Up is the first part. You got, most people that watch TV have know Joey Jones, Johnny Joey Jones from the Marine Corps. He lost both his legs. He's a Fox News host now. You got Matt Best, which is Black Rifle Coffee. You have Dan Crenshaw, who was a Navy SEAL, who's the guy with the eye patch in Congress. You got the Crybaby. You got the Crybaby Adam Kinzinger, the big Crybaby, you know, the one that cries on national television. The fake Republican. Morgan Luttrell, former Navy SEAL, who you know from Operation Red Wings. Sean Parnell, the one that Jocko's got a chapter in the book.
That's cool.
There's a woman here that I like, Caroline Johnson, who was a pilot in the Navy, a female pilot. And it's just like the best thing about it is it kind of gives you their story, like who they are, where they're from, their upbringing, the branch of service, cool war stories if there's any. Some of them, like I said, some of them are crybaby congressmen now. Some of them are, you know, some of them turned into those professional liars in Washington. You just don't know. And
some of them have books out beyond that. So if you find a piece, something in there that you like about one of them, you can go read some of the other stuff. Then you got to dive in deeper.
You got a badass like Jocko who has a chapter in here, right? So it's a good book. For patriotism for July 4th. So go out and read Modern Warriors. Dave, anything else you want to throw in on July 4th before you go grilling?
No, just
grilling by yourself.
Grilling by myself, me and Bear, just hanging out. I got myself a nice steak. It's going to be beautiful. Steak, fantastic. How can you go wrong? No, it's just happy birthday, America. If you want more of our traditional holiday content, you can go back to episode 17. We dove into 4th of July last year, some more kind of fun stuff. This was a little bit more focused on some of the things that are going on now. But if you go back to episode 17, you can get some fun stuff there too.
Sweet. Well, I got nothing else to add, so let's go barbecue.
All right, everybody, get out there. Continue to live the full force life. If you're finding the show enjoyable, please share it with your friends. Get it out to many fathers as we can. And coming up in the next few weeks, we got some great full force father stuff. We're getting back to the money, the fitness. We got back to school coming up soon, so we got all sorts of good content coming your way. So be sure to check us out. See you next time.